Thank you for joining. So this is Thailand. I'm Valerie McKenzie. Sawadee ka.
I'm Johan Wimanchalal. Swadee krap.
And I'm Tapani Manawet. Sawadee ka.
Now, I guess the talk of today is all about Halloween.
Absolutely.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. We're a little early, but there's going to be some great parties on tonight. And if you haven't noticed, so many people are already planned. They've also had, I suppose, Halloween parties over the weekend for those of you that are greedy and want to and say, I possibly can't go to an event on Wednesday because it's a working night. Not true. You'll be at the events tonight too. So you going out or you're not?
No, I'm staying inside. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out on the streets out there, all dressed up. So don't be surprised if you're on the BTS or driving your car. You look to your left or your right, you see Dracula or maybe a mummy or something like that.
That'll be great.
If it was something obvious like Dracula or mummy, it'd be okay. But if I was in the car and someone with a smushed up face was in the car, I'd be a bit scared.
But anyway, have a great night, and I'm sure we'll see all the photographs tomorrow in the press.
Oh, and on Facebook,
I'm
sure.
Ugliest of the Halloween parties ever. What have we got on as talk of the town?
Well, talk of the town at the top, obviously, is futsal. Now we know that the arena should have been done by yesterday, actually. But for those who have been keeping up with the news, the latest hiccup in finalizing the stadium is customs. Actually, you would think in here in Thailand, but not. It's actually in China where they had a problem being able to clear out flooring, which was going to be imported from China. It couldn't get out of China. So obviously they've had to cancel that order, resource it from other locations, Malaysia, Taiwan instead. They still are confident that they'll be able to get expedite the shipment into Thailand, be able to finish the stadium for, obviously not for the opening ceremonies, which happen just now.
Yeah.
But they're hoping that actually for the later matches, especially for the final match, we do hope it'll be complete.
Well, let's hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be really a disaster, isn't it? I mean, we spent all that money and we haven't used it, and there's probably not a lot of chance we're going to use it in the future.
Exactly. And in fact, you know, we've known for quite a long time now that obviously Bangkok's going to be hosting the World Cup. It's kind of a bad showing to say, oh yeah, we'll have a facility, but it won't be completed till it's over.
I think there's also an issue with FIFA, isn't it, where they're saying, well, you know, unless it's actually complete, unless there's been a game played on it, we can't approve it for a worldwide, you know, world-class event. So many challenges, and we keep talking about it because we would like you, wherever the futsal players are going, go out there and support them. There's players from all around the world, but it would be nice to actually show our hospitality to them because they're going to be a bit frustrated, I would think.
Well, it's a great big embarrassment as well. You know?
Sure.
Can you imagine, you know, people from all over the world came to play here and they'll go back home, hey, remember that time when we couldn't do the opening ceremony? So let's hope it all comes together.
It's sad. Now, what about the petition, the 3G petition to the admin court?
Well, it seems the 3G is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. A senator has petitioned for the Office of the Ombudsman to review the conditions of the 3G auction that has already taken place. Of course, the 3 major mobile networks won, AIS and DTAC and True, but so far the argument has been that there was only 5 people sitting in on the panel while the NBTC judged the 3G auction, and this violates some kind of clause in the Constitution which required 11 members of the NBTC to be present. But the 3G bidding winners, of course, have come out to say that there is absolutely no collusion taking place, and they maintain their stance that the auction proceedings went forward as they should have. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it just goes on, and it's again, it's a bit like futsal. It's a shambles, isn't it, really? And I mean, when we look at Laos, who's actually about to go into 4G, I mean, I don't understand the system. Obviously, I'm not into IT. You are more than I. But why can't we jump to 4G and be ahead of the rest? Or do we have to go through 3G to get 4G?
Well, the problem is when they set up the infrastructure, you know, some years ago. So they had already planned, you know, 2 or 3 years ago to have 3G here. A lot of the equipment was already ready. They're just waiting to be able to switch it on once they get approval for the spectrum from the government, obviously. But it's, you know, it's a sad state that, okay, you know, now with 3G. But actually, when we talked with someone before on the show, they said that 3G will happen, but it should be a much more rapid progression to 4G. Let's say within another year.
It couldn't be
A
any
year and a
slower,
half.
could it
Could
really?
be, you know,
Or is
And-
it some kind of urban myth that I heard that because the infrastructure is already in place, they can actually use it right now,
Well, I think
but
True
they
are using
can't
it right
charge
now,
for
but
it?
They can't charge for it,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
Well,
why can't
but,
we
you
just
know,
switch it on and
To
just
come
get
back and
rid
say,
of it?
oh, there should have been 11 people in the meeting and there's only 5, I mean, really, what is this department doing? I mean, you'd have to know whether you have to have 11 people there or 3 or 5.
Well, apparently there have been 3 other petitions that have been filed to the Office of the Ombudsman on various matters regarding this bidding. So, you know, it's broken
Let's
a few
just get moving along.
violations.
You know, let's do it for the country. Let's do it for what we're going to gain out of it, not for all this pettiness that's going on behind the scene. We only have 3 local players, so let them get on with it. You know.
Exactly. Well, to continue with the in limbo work, if you recall, we covered a story looking at the lottery system and how they'll hopefully be replacing the traditional paper tickets that you find on the street being sold by the vendors with electronic versions of the machines you might be able to find at, let's say, a convenience store. Now, these are something that we're quite familiar with in the West. You know, you go there, you choose your numbers, it prints out an official ticket for you, and good to go.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is there's been a lot of blowback because the ticket vendors themselves are saying this is an important source of income for them,
Particularly the handicapped.
particularly the handicapped, in that, you know, you're taking away their livelihood, whereas you have other people countering that argument, saying, well, listen, by having it all automated through these machines, that you can control any type of corruption that's in there, overcharging of tickets, and also be able to get a better grasp on exactly how much the demand is. And for those who don't know the lottery system here in Thailand, it's almost 16 years that since it's been implemented, and it's gone through on and off periods throughout that time. Obviously, people going for, against, where's the money coming from, people against gambling, because gambling in itself is illegal here in the country, but government lottery is not. So it's kind of a two-edged sword there.
I think it's really one of these other non-type stories. I mean, if you remember, when Banhan actually was the Prime Minister who launched the project, and then I know that during the Thaksin administration, we actually had the lottery, and we had also this new system of the IT system, or the easy-to-contact system, but we also had the handicapped, those people still on the street. So you have a choice. You can go in and pay, let's say, 80 baht for the ticket, or outside you can talk to those people that are selling the tickets and you pay 90 or 100. It's your choice if you know what the difference is. So I don't believe that those people that are handicapped or those people that are selling tickets are going to be suffering as much. But I think that we need to have it once and for all. Are we going to have this system that is, you know, going to go forward, or are we not? Because it's in, out. Can you imagine every time how much it costs us to go into a system and out of a system, into a system, out of a system?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, if on the plus side of having a national lottery, yes, obviously gambling is not something that we want to encourage here, but if you can do it like you do in the West, where half of the money generated from it goes to public works, it goes to education,
exactly.
and it funds all these, you know, absolutely necessary projects, then there's some benefit out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's hope it's resolved once and for all.
And on to the last topic for our Talk of the Town. Seems there's a lot of unhappy people today. The Gamnans and villagers have been protesting nationwide. They're going to head into Bangkok to Royal Plaza on November 7th to express their discontent because of the present situation. Well, basically, Gamnan and village headmen have 5 years term in office at the moment, and they would like for this to be extended until they retire at the age of 60, rather than a 5-year term, which gets renewed every 5 years. About 250,000 Gamnan and village headmen will be heading into Royal Plaza to protest and make their case. And well, actually, if you ask me, I think that a 5-year term is quite a substantial amount of time, given the state of our country and how much corruption there is. If there was one that was bad, like a bad egg, that could never be voted out, I mean, it doesn't
They could
seem
be
to
there for
make
8,
sense.
10, 12, 14 years.
Yeah, and also the money that's going into village with village funds and things like that, it's quite important to have the checks and balances to make sure that they stay clean or have an incentive to be.
Is there an age when you can become a village headman, or is it can be at any age? So you could theoretically come in at 42 and they'd want to stay there until you're 60.
Yes. Well, usually I think with the Thai kind of seniority system, it's very unusual to have younger village headmen
that's
and
true.
gamnans. Yeah.
But how corrupt are these village headman? I mean, you've got people going in and trying to buy votes. What else are they doing within their own village that means that they can actually get involved in all sorts of other activities than what they should?
I think just from the kind of news that we cover as well, when money gets sent into a village, they are then chair of the committee and they get to decide who it goes to and how it's divided. So for, say, example, village fund, 1 million baht, they would get control of that pretty much, and
they can put it basically where they like.
Yes, and
so okay.
And also, you know, contracts, things to do with around town. Say, you know, if you want to plant 2,000 trees, you know, where do you get it from? And usually it ends up being kind of friends and family and all sorts of nepotism going on. So.
Well, it ain't going to change overnight, as they say. But let's hope we actually
can have a good old protest about it.
Another protest, yet another protest. Well, we're going to also go to a short break, but we're also, when we come back, I'm going to be talking to the people of Kasikorn Bank. Just recently, there was the SME CARE project, Care for Business. SMEs are a very large part of our business community, both in Thailand and internationally. But how well are they looked after? How well do they interact with one another? Kasikorn Bank is putting them all together to make sure that they actually are able to interact, to be able to do business together, and hopefully they're going to have this event annually at Impact Muang Thong Thani. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with what Kasikorn Bank are doing, and you'll meet two entrepreneurs as well.